Have you ever wondered what happens when the most dangerous man of his time? I'm talking an undefeated swordsman, over 60 victories in duels to the death, puts down his blades, retreats to a cave, and picks up a brush? Well, that man was Miyamoto Musashi, and what he wrote in that cave became a Book of Five Rings. And let me tell you, its principles on conflict, victory, and mastery are just as sharp today as they were 400 years ago.
And he wasn't just bragging when he said this at age 60. This was the summary of his entire life. When Musashi said his heart was inclined toward the way of strategy, he literally meant that every duel, every step, every single breath was dedicated to this one pursuit. And when you look at his life, you really see what he means.
I mean, get this. His career started with a kill when he was just 13. By 29, he was already a total legend, undefeated in over 60 duels. But here's what's so fascinating. He says he only came to realize the true way of strategy at age 50. So this book, it isn't the work of some young, hot-headed warrior. It's the collected wisdom of a master who spent a lifetime thinking about what victory really truly means.
So what is this true way he discovered? Well, in his first section, The Ground Book, Musashi makes it really clear that strategy isn't just about sword fighting. To explain it, he uses this powerful and honestly totally unexpected analogy, carpentry.
First off, he draws a line right in the sand. He's not interested in what he calls immature strategy. You know, flashy moves, fighting for money, or treating your skills like some product for sale. No. His way is way deeper. It's about the mental and spiritual strength to overcome opponents, and a resolute acceptance of death, a total commitment that leaves zero room for hesitation.
And this is where that whole carpenter thing just comes to life. A strategist, like a master carpenter, sees the entire project. The commander? He's the foreman with the master plan. He knows his materials, his soldiers, and uses them perfectly. The best wood, the straightest grain, that's for the main pillars. The knotted, less perfect wood, still useful, but for scaffolding. He gives out work based on what his men can actually do. And here's the kicker. Every single trooper, like every carpenter on the job site, is responsible for sharpening their own tools and perfecting their own craft. It's this beautiful system where mastery flows from the top down and is built from the bottom up.
Okay, so with that foundation laid, Musashi takes us right into the heat of battle with the Fire Book. This is where strategy becomes action. He lays out these core principles for pretty much any confrontation, whether it's one-on-one or a whole army.
A huge idea here is to always forestall the enemy, basically to seize the initiative before they can. He gives us 3 ways to do this. First, Ken no Sen. You attack first, you set the pace. Then there's Tai no Sen. You wait, maybe even look weak, let them make a move, and then you strike when they've overcommitted. And finally, Tai no Sen. You both attack at the same time, but you join their rhythm and then just overwhelm them. See? In every single case, the goal is the same. You, not your opponent, are in control of the time.
This all ties into this brilliant principle he calls holding down a pillow. I mean, what a fantastic image, right? You can't let your opponent get their head up to breathe. The idea is to constantly shut down anything they try that might actually work, while letting them waste all their energy on pointless moves. You get to dictate what's even possible in the
And you must always be unpredictable. This is what he calls the mountain-sea change. If your enemy is braced for a heavy, solid assault, the mountain, you flow around them like water. If they're ready for a fluid, fast attack, the sea, you crash down on them with overwhelming force. The point is to never ever be the thing your enemy expects you to be.
But you know, all these tactics, this fire of battle, they're pretty useless if your spirit isn't right. And for this, Musashi turns to the Water Book. He explains that your mind, your spirit, has to be like water, calm on the surface, able to adapt to any container, but powerful enough to carve through solid rock. This is all about forging the internal state of a victor.
He lays out 9 principles for life to build this spirit, and they go so far beyond just combat. I mean, look at some of these. Do not think dishonestly. Perceive those things which cannot be seen. And maybe my favorite, do nothing which is of no use. You see what he's getting at, right? For Musashi's strategy wasn't some technique you just pull out for a fight. It was the natural result of a disciplined life and a clear mind.
And he really lived this. To sharpen his strategic mind, he didn't just practice with his sword over and over. He became a celebrated master of ink painting, sculpture, and calligraphy. Now, you might be asking, why would a warrior dedicate himself to art? Well, because for Musashi, there was no difference.
He understood that the intense, unwavering focus you need to paint a single, perfect ink brush stroke
Was the exact same mental state you need to face an opponent and win a duel to the death. Mastery in one art polishes the spirit for victory in everything.
All right, so this whole approach to mastery, it leads us to his final and honestly most profound teaching, the Book of the Void. This is the absolute summit of Musashi's philosophy. And yeah, it gets a little abstract, but stick with me because the payoff is totally worth it.
So what is the void? I mean, the word itself sounds like emptiness, right? Like nothingness. But for Musashi, it's something else entirely.
Musashi describes it with his crazy paradox. He says things we value, wisdom, principle, the way, all those things exist. But in the void, spirit is nothingness. He says, in the void there is virtue and no evil. So what in the world is he trying to tell us?
The void isn't absence, it's absolute presence. It's that state of flow. You know, when a musician becomes the music or an artist becomes the brush. It's what happens when you have trained so incredibly hard that the clouds of bewilderment, all that overthinking, finally just clear away. You simply act, naturally, spontaneously, and perfectly. It's pure, unthinking, flawless action.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To become so masterful in whatever path you choose that conscious thought just falls away, leaving only perfect, natural action. Musashi dedicated his entire life to finding his way in the art of strategy, and his 400-year-old wisdom leaves all of us with one timeless, challenging question. What is your way?